Hey Guitar Fam and friends, it's Nate here, and it is blues season here on the Guitar Fam YouTube channel and the Guitar Fam website because the new Blues Hound course is coming out very soon in the next couple of weeks. So stay tuned for a lot of information coming out on that. Kind of in that spirit, I wanted to go through some of the most important things in the course here on the YouTube channel, just to give you some kind of primers to get started with the blues if that's something you're interested in. And in this video, we're going to go over what I think is the most important thing, like ground zero starting point if you want to play the blues. And you may hear what I'm about to say and be like, oh yeah, right, that's not the most important thing. Or be like, I don't know about that. But this is the one thing you have to be able to do, in my opinion, to be really good at playing the blues. And that is play through a 12-bar blues progression. Not play like Stevie Ray Vaughan, not rip off pentatonics or arpeggio licks or anything like that. But you have to know where you are in whatever progression you're playing over to have a really good sense of what to play over that progression as far as a solo. And what you saw me play at the beginning of this video was just that idea of always hearing that chord progression in my head, knowing it so well, like it's tattooed on my eyeball. I can hear it in my head, in my sleep, like the back of my hand, just as good as you possibly can know something. You need to know the 12-bar blues progression. Not that you're going to be playing over that progression exclusively all the time when you play the blues, but it is the foundation that you kind of modify for a lot of blues chord progressions that you're going to be playing over. So you may think, Nate, I really don't have a problem with this. I know the 12-bar blues progression really well. And a lot of people, when they come to me for private lessons, have that kind of attitude or opinion, and they say, okay, play the 12-bar blues for me real quick, and inevitably around bars 8 or 9, 10, maybe they kind of get lost and things kind of fall apart. And that was me too. I'm not criticizing you or like making light of it. Especially when I was in college, I went to music school and I realized I did not know the 12-bar blues progression nearly as good as I needed to, and it took me a lot longer than it should have to actually get it down. So if you want to test yourself, if you think you already know it and you're very confident in it, go ahead. I'll be putting out some more videos with some more tips as far as getting into lead guitar that are really important for you being able to solo over blues chord changes and things like that. But if you're not sure if you know the 12-bar blues progression good enough, I have a simple test for you. Let's pick the key of A and play in that key. Now we're going to be using the 1, 4, 5 chords in the key of A, and I'm going to go through the whole 12-bar blues progression, but the test is just play through it and see if you can do it all into a metronome, or not even a metronome, just tap your foot, right? But to kind of prime you and get you through this, just to make sure you know everything you need to know the 1, 4, and 5 chords in the key of A, because that's the key we're going to be in, and those are A, B, C sharp, D is the 4 chord, and E is the 5 chord. And if you're not familiar with the 12-bar blues progression, we'll go over that right now too. So you can use any chord shapes you want to play through this progression. You can do all open chords. The A is the 1, D is the 4, E is the 5. Or you can use bar chords too. An A bar chord is an E shape, D chord is in the A shape, 4 chord, 5 chord is an E using the A shape. Any one you want. So here's the standard 12-bar blues progression, and this is the same in any key that you're playing it in. This time we're in A, so A is the 1 chord, right? So 4 bars or measures of the 1 chord A, 2 bars of the 4 D, 2 bars of the 1, back to the 1 for 2 bars, 1 bar of the 5, 1 bar of the 4, 1 bar of the 1, 1 bar of the 5. Okay, so that is the standard 12-bar blues progression. If you're not very familiar with this yet, you don't feel like you don't have it down, download the jam track and the chord chart for this and just study it. Really internalize, listen to it over and over and over again. If you think you have it down, here's the test. Test yourself. Just play through the 12-bar blues progression a few times and see if you get lost. If you get lost, it's not there yet. If you don't get lost, you're good to go, and you have this down to where you need it to be to start working on more soloing ideas and things like that. But I'm just going to play through this with quarter notes using bar chords to give you an idea of what it should be like. Hey, 1, 2, ready, go. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Comes the 4 chord, D for 2 measures, 1, 2, 3. right? Back to A. 1, 2, 3, 4. Comes a 5, 4, 1, 5. Now, if at any point in that chord progression you got lost and you couldn't hear what is coming next, that just means you need to really work on this, because the last thing I want to be doing when I'm soloing is thinking about, oh dear God, I don't know what chord's coming next. I want to be able to hear it in my head, know what's going on, so I can be free to think about, you know, what phrase do I want to play over this? What idea do I want to express on the guitar? We get into all that type of stuff in the Blueshound course, but it all starts with this. If you can't do this, it's going to be a lot harder to express yourself with solos than it should be. So when you're playing and it goes to the 4 chord, back to the 1, and then the 5 is coming up, 4, 1, 5. Right, and if you can do that, you're good to go. Now I will say this, this is very basic, but that's cool. Like, a lot of guitar players discount how important this is. And if you're like me and you got to college and you're like a deer in the headlights and you had no idea what was going on and you were lost, it's not a very good feeling. And getting this foundation will help you lay a solid foundation for learning how to play the blues, which is, if you're watching this video, this is what we all want to do, right? And we get into how to dress this up as far as, you know, different rhythm guitar riffs and different chord progressions, different blues chord progressions that are based on this, but this is really ground zero. And this may seem like a bit of an overstatement that, you know, learning the 12-bar blues like the back of your hand is the most important part of playing the blues, but to me it really is. My blues playing didn't start to really get better until I could hear what was going on in my head as far as the chord progressions that were coming up. And I heard somebody once say, if you can't hear it in your head or sing it, then you can't play it. And I found that to be really true on this one. And I find it just really liberating to have that chord progression, or whatever chord progression I'm playing over, kind of running in the background in my RAM, in my head, in my brain, as I'm trying to think of soloing ideas and things like that. And we'll get into that more in the next video that's coming out, which is going to talk about one of the most important ideas for soloing and breaking things down into their smallest components that's manageable for playing awesome blues solos. So that's really it for this lesson. And in my opinion, this really is one of the most important things you can get down really well on the blues, because if you have a really good idea of what you're playing over and you can hear it in your head, you're gonna have a lot easier time coming up with really meaningful things to say with your solos on the guitar. Be looking out for the Blueshound course that's coming out in the next few weeks, and some more blues videos. Next time we'll get into the only thing you need to know to actually play the blues, and by that I mean blues solos, so be looking out for that too. I'll see you.